New allegations of excessive force by
on chaos control.
What if I told you, if you put down $100 in 1964, and in 2025, it's worth $5.5 million? It's not a lie, it's a true story. You know what? It's actually real history. And the worst part about it is, we weren't even a part of it. What's gonna be even more worse, we're about to miss the next one too. I love this part, you gotta check this out. Ooh. Yep, that's right. Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway had reported at their shareholders meeting that since 1964 to 2025, they have returned value to shareholders 5.25 million % return. In comparison, the S&P 500 over that same time span only brought back a measly 39,000% return. Crazy numbers. And you know what's so crazy about it? If you had invested $5,000 back in 1964, then that would be worth $276 million. No crypto, no BS, just long-term conviction. And while they were printing money, we were fighting to survive. In 1964, black folks were just trying to be seen as equal. Wall Street, it was a fortress. Ain't nobody cracking that. Don't shoot. Hey yo, you over here talking about compounded interest rates at 20.2%, whatever. Yo, we had no access, no literacy, no trust in the system. We over here at the kitchen table trying to make ends meet, and you over here talking about a compounded interest rate. We weren't investors, we were the labor, and the price that we paid for it, in missed millions. You feel me, dog? Hey, bro, how are we supposed to do this? All right, let's get real. Because honestly, every generation failed. Boomers didn't even have the tools. Gen Xers got crushed by policy. Millennials, we had the internet, and yet we still fumbled. We bought cars we couldn't even afford, brands we didn't even own, vibes over value, and on top of that, when we think about equity, we put equity in everything else except for where it matters, ownership. Gen Z and Gen Alpha, they're cooked. They're being taught by TikTok algorithms that we didn't even create. And then we want to sit back and have the audacity to sit back and talk about legacy, and yet we can't even leave a will behind. We've all played a role in this. But you know what though? There's still hope. We don't have to leave it this way. Listen, we can do better. I know we can. You don't need to have millions of dollars in order to go out there and do something phenomenal. All you need is a tribe or friends in which that want to execute alongside with you. I mean, just think about it. If you work together, start a micro VC or private equity fund. Go invest in great startups and AI and be a part of the revolution. Invest in us because, you know, we only represent maybe 1.9% of all venture capital in the US. If you think about it, go start a real estate group. Invest in cash flowing assets. Go start a black hedge fund because Wall Street really needs us. Clearly, lack of imagination. Especially when it comes to stocks, ETFs, options, bonds, futures, the whole nine. All you need is just a solid 10-year plan, a strategy, 1 decade, commitment. You're not broke. You're just unorganized. Here's the strategy. So a lot of you have been asking me, Mark, how is it that we do X, Y, Z? How is it that we build wealth? How is it that we collaborate? Well, here's your challenge. We're gonna see if you can actually build wealth amongst your friends, amongst your family, whomever. I'm challenging you for the next 10 years to literally complete this strategy. Now, find 6 people, whether family, friends, loved ones, whomever. Now, each person dedicates $10,000. Now, over 10 years, that's $600K that you've been able to put together. And if you want to, treat it as a nest egg, though that's not the strategy. Now, for the next 10 years, now, for those of you that remember the rolling forward strategy that actually followed suit that became wealthy, shout outs to you. But for the folks that need to come together and ultimately do a little bit more as it pertains to emphasis, here's your opportunity. So each of you will put $10,000 towards a collective pot. Come together, and when the market literally drops 5 to 10%, AKA correction, you're going to set a 1 to 2% target to the upside, or either if you're very bearish to the market, to the downside. And essentially for the next 2 years, you're waiting for it to not only hit the target, but to go beyond back to where it once was. Now, essentially, what you do after that is you rinse and repeat. You don't spend, you don't splurge and everything else. This is what I mean where you gotta be truly, truly dedicated. We're talking about that 1964 dedication to 2025 that ultimately led towards folks doing the Berkshire Hathaway. And so essentially it's if you wanna have those Berkshire Hathaway moments, then this is where the sacrifice is gonna have to go into play. Now, of course, it's up to you, but here's the strategy. You take the rolling fours, everybody puts down 10,000. So now you got 60K to ultimately go for it. And so by the time when you reach year 10 and a half, it's $55 million. Now, the challenge has been issued. Can you do it? You know what? I'll take this check. I'm gonna be real with y'all. Our window's closing. And when you think about it, the Black resurgence as it pertains to equity and ownership and opportunity, I think it's fleeting. And when you think about it, moral equity is gone. There's no reparations, no excuses, no handouts, no second chances, none of that. So when you look at Wall Street, it's just continuously moving faster and faster. When you think about assets, they're getting more and more expensive. Ownership, it's consolidating. So nobody's gonna give you a handout. So you have to decide over these last 10 years or these next 10 years, is your last name going to be an asset that builds towards the legacy? Or is it just gonna be yet again another name that we find on a GoFundMe page? You decide. All right, so Berkshire ain't coming back. But it doesn't mean that we can't build a better one together. How do we do this? Start a group chat, assign roles, file a LLC, run the damn play. Because honestly, the next Berkshire Hathaway ain't gonna be in Omaha. And if you're feeling this message, don't just sit here and say, oh, I like that. Go do something. Because the next one might be on your block. It might be even in your barbershop, or it might even be you sitting right there in the living room. You'll never know unless you get up off that couch and actually go do something. Because guess what? We got tons of watching stories. You know what we don't have? We don't have legacies. So go build one. Until next time, I'm Mark Monroe, and I just gave it to you straight, no chaser.